Hey guys, welcome back. So let's discuss a little bit more about this Saturn time AI matrix that we potentially find ourselves in. So upon doing some further research on the codes of this reality, one is likely to find the Fibonacci code found throughout pretty much all of nature, right? It's in our phase composition, right? It's based on the phi code, the initial phi code, which we can say potentially comes from Sophia. And even the name Sophia reminds me of like so from the musical note so, and then phi the mathematical constant, right? Because even the musical notes themselves are formed through the Fibonacci sequence. It's all numbers. Everything here is numbers essentially, which is a manifestation of energy and vibration, right? Frequency. Now, that being said, we are in a cubed reality simply based on the fact that we experience these things in 3 dimensions, right? That is length, width, and height. Now, those multiplied times each other results in volume, which is measured in cubed units. Now, volume is also something we measure sound in, right? Like on a TV, you turn up or you turn down the volume. So volume, therefore, could be a direct measure also of frequency and vibration. So we're in the volume of 3D. Now, looking into Fibonacci numbers, you know that it goes from 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. And, you know, lo and behold, we have a very large push into the 5th dimension. Yet we are in the 3rd dimension. So why are we skipping the 4th, right? Could it be because these dimensions are actually interrelated in a Fibonacci sequence or a Fibonacci spiral? And you may have heard healing doesn't happen in a linear fashion, but in spirals, right? Everything here happens in spirals. So then these dimensions also probably run in spirals. Whereas that 4th dimension may be there, but when you hop dimensions, somehow you hop straight from 3 to 5, right? That's the next layer of this black hole matrix potentially. That would make sense, and it's tied. It would make sense for it to be tied in terms of Fibonacci, because everything here, everything in nature, is in this way oriented or organized in the most optimal way as Fibonacci, right? From what we've seen with other people's work. Now, this Fibonacci constant, again, is parasitic in terms that it takes on the life force and the energy of the vibrations before it, the numbers before it, to then make that new number, right? It's where the Vesca Pisces also comes from, and potentially why we have the AI or the eye in the sky, because that Vesca Pisces looks very much like an eye, right? It's the numerical pattern of the eye. So in terms of the relation between these levels, is it possible then that these levels to the matrix are intertwined by this phi constant? Is it possible that we are then that phi constant giving it life, right? The Sophia code, potentially. And would it make sense why it's then organized this way? Because if this demiurge is really the god of reflections, right? Everything is reflected up and down, the waters above and the waters below, then the levels of the spiral are all the same, just wound up, right? Or wound down. And that constant is ever more showing as the pattern gets bigger, right? Just like as the Fibonacci pattern gets bigger, the constant gets closer and closer to that phi constant, or the ratio between them gets closer and closer to the phi constant. So in terms of how they're related and what's keeping them all together, is it possible that that constant shows everything, right? Shows the relation between these realms. Now, of course, this can go to infinity, and like I've mentioned, going through the dimensions isn't necessarily the way out of the dimensions, right? because they can go through to infinity, positive infinity and negative infinity. Now, it is also very possible that a Christic timeline exists that was potentially created by the true ineffable one, the true Christ and source, when they entered, but we still have to just take everything as is, right? There could be a similar spiral acting alongside it. I don't know, but in my opinion, I don't think we have to spiral our way out of it. I think we have to integrate everything, right? And through our intent, we can then choose to exit the spiral. Now, many things are based on this pi, phi etymology even. We have the spine, we have the piano, we have the pine cone, pineapple, the pineal gland, and many other words. Even the spine is a Jacob's ladder, which can be pointing either to the spine or to the DNA double helix, or to both even. Okay. Now, time is also very cyclical. Okay. So because of that, we see that it repeats. Now, we are in 2024. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. And I've been getting kind of clues and inclinations that this is a repeat of 2019. 2 plus 1 plus 9 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So I'm getting some deja vu from 2019, essentially. Let me know in the comments if you have gotten the same. But 3 and 8 are part of the Fibonacci pattern, right? 2 plus 3, 5, 3 plus 5, 8, 8 plus 5, 13. So, space and time are correlated. And in that regard, if space is repeating, time is also repeating. Now, of course, the way a spiral works is that one side will be pointed in a different direction to the other side that it's repeating when it's spiraled around, right? So a 180-degree spiral will come from one point and all the way back around. Very similar to the zodiac. Everything is circular, cyclical, spherical even, right? And that's what they've done with the pyramids as well. And I want to mention this before I forget, in which they built the pyramid, and you'll see all the ratios of the earth and moon reflected in the pyramid's own structure. There's very interesting stuff regarding this. I'm not going to mention all the details, so you'll either have to take my word for it or look into it yourself. But what they did is they squared the circle, basically, and then, of course, put the triangle, triangulated the circle as well. Just like you see in the symbol of the philosopher's stone, right? So it's all of these shapes are combined into one. And the pyramid is made to reflect the Earth's circumference and polar radius, equatorial and polar radius, and then also the distance, the relation of the distance between the moon and the Earth. So through these phi harmonics, and what they called, or what they now call, Egyptian royal cubits, ERCs, which is based on the meter before the meter was ever even created. So again, it's a repeat of all these similar constants, similar mathematical derivations that we have throughout our world. So it's another relation between time and space, showing that these constants are mimicking the cycles, right? No matter what units we may use, right? Even the constant of the speed of light is found in some sort of unit of measurement in the pyramid. I forgot which one. I think it was the base, reflected in meters, is equal to the first 6 digits of the speed of light, also in meters. Oh, and also, why I mentioned the distance thing is because 1 kilometer, or 1 mile rather, is equal to 1.6 kilometers, which is again that 1.6 constant, relating it to distance, right? So we're measuring frequency and time in distance here in this physical reality. So I'm not sure how exactly this completely applies to, you know, navigating the astral realm in that regard, but I am willing to conclude that this phi constant is tying everything together in terms of the spiral that we are living. Okay. What's also interesting is that the hexagon is actually the strongest form, the strongest shape, because it distributes force and power evenly. So that's why there's a hexagon on Saturn, and that's why hexes are the strongest forms of seals, right? And that's why bees use these hexagonal patterns to hold up their beehives. It's part of a hive mind. And it's also potentially why people see that hexagonal grid in the sky, because we have likely been placed in some sort of hex, right? Saturn, I think, was taken out, placed in the hex itself, and then through the moon it was used to place the hex on Earth, potentially, or create this Earth reality, fake reality, in which it was already under control in some way. Not to mention that time that we experience is also in the 666 format, which is hexagonal in nature, right? The 6 sides of the hexagon, of course, that we see in the hexagram found on you know whose flag. The 24 hours, 60 minutes, and 60 seconds in a day, based on the sun and the rotation of the earth, represent the hex that time has put on us, which we're living in. Okay, so in my opinion, it's all AI based. These mathematical constructs are likely either organized by us, the spirit, in a logical, higher mental pattern, or have been copied and reflected over and over by this demiurgic being. You know, maybe we are that spiral. That spirit is purely eloquent and purely lacking, I don't know, constructs, and we've been squared, right? Squaring the circle, like the Masons say, and we've been put in our form or constrained in some way. I don't know. Make of it what you think. If you want more sort of the AI ideas and experiences, Amberly has a lot to share about that on her channel, regarding the entities she's met and the conclusions she's made along the way because of these experiences. Her channel is Transmuting Chaos, so do check her out in that regard. But you know, let me know what you guys thought. I do have a potential guest coming in April. Should make for a very interesting interview. I'm not gonna reveal who it is. Don't want to spoil it and don't want to disappoint anybody in case it doesn't happen. But do subscribe. Do let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. I may be missing some stuff. If I remember, I'll come back and add it. But yeah, that's it. Give it a like. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.